I've been getting letters from my dead brother warning me about our parents. Today I found out why. The letters started arriving 6 months ago, always slipped under my apartment door with no postmark. They were written in my brother Marcus's handwriting, which was impossible because Marcus died in a car accident 3 years ago, when he was 25. The first letter was simple. Alex, don't trust them. They're not who you think they are. From Marcus. I thought it was a sick prank, but the handwriting was perfect, down to the way Marcus always dotted his I's with little circles. The second letter arrived 2 weeks later. They killed me, Alex. It wasn't an accident. Check the basement of the old house. Look behind the water heater. From Marcus. That made me call my parents. When I asked about Marcus's accident, my mom started crying and my dad quickly changed the subject, just like they always did. They'd moved out of our childhood home shortly after Marcus died. The third letter was more urgent. Alex, they're planning something for your 25th birthday. The same thing they did to me. You need to get away from them before it's too late. The others are buried in the woods behind the church. From Marcus. My 25th birthday was in 2 months, the same age Marcus was when he died. I investigated the old house. The new owners let me check the basement when I explained I was looking for something my deceased brother might have hidden. Behind the water heater, I found a loose brick. Inside was a USB drive labeled evidence. The USB contained hundreds of photos and videos that made my blood freeze. They showed my parents participating in ritualistic ceremonies with other adults from our town. The participants wore black robes and gathered around altars with strange symbols. But the most horrifying part was the children in the photos. I recognized several kids from my childhood who had moved away or died in accidents over the years. In the videos, I watched my parents and other adults performing sacrifice rituals. The children were drugged and placed on stone altars while the adults chanted. One video was dated 3 years ago. It showed Marcus tied to an altar, conscious but unable to move. My parents stood over him with ceremonial knives while other cult members chanted around them. The video captured his murder in graphic detail. The fourth letter arrived the next day. You found the evidence? Good. Now you know what they really are. But Alex, there's something else you need to know. You're not their real son. From Marcus. I drove to the church and found the woods behind it. Using a metal detector, I spent hours searching until I hit something solid about 4 feet down. I called the police anonymously and reported finding human remains. 2 days later, the news broke. Police had discovered the bodies of 12 children buried in the woods, all between the ages of 8 and 25. The police launched a massive investigation into what they were calling a ritualistic murder cult. The fifth letter contained a birth certificate with my photo, but a different name, David Chen. According to the document, I had been kidnapped from a family in another state when I was 6 years old. Alec, they took you to replace their real son who died of leukemia. They've been grooming you for sacrifice since you were a child, but they needed you to reach 25 first. The ritual requires the victim to be the same age Marcus was. You were never their son. You were always meant to be their offering. From Marcus. I checked missing person databases and found David Chen, reported kidnapped in 2004. The age progression photos looked exactly like me. My entire life had been a lie. The sixth letter arrived yesterday. The police are closing in, but mom and dad know you have the evidence. They're going to try to complete the ritual tonight before they're arrested. They've been drugging your food for weeks to make you compliant. Don't eat anything they give you. Run. From Marcus. I realized I had been feeling unusually drowsy lately, especially after family dinners. My parents had been inviting me over more frequently, always insisting I eat their home-cooked meals. I called the police and told them everything. They said they'd been building a case against the cult, but needed more evidence. I agreed to wear a wire to tonight's family dinner to get my parents to confess. When I arrived at my parents' house, they seemed unusually excited. We're so glad you're here, Alex, my mother said. Tonight is very special. The dining room had been transformed. Black candles surrounded the table, and strange symbols were drawn on the walls in what looked like blood. Other cult members I recognized from the videos were already seated, wearing black robes. It's time, son, my father said, pulling out a ceremonial knife. Time for you to join Marcus and fulfill your true purpose. That's when I understood the final horror. The letters weren't from Marcus's ghost. Marcus was still alive, trapped in the cult's underground chamber beneath the church. He'd been writing the letters and having other cult members deliver them, trying to expose the cult and save both of us. My parents smiled as they approached me with the knife. Happy birthday, David. It's time to come home.